Tonight allows people a release.
This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual Purge. At the siren, all emergency services will be suspended for 12 hours. Your government thanks you for your participation.
They can't get in here, right? They can't get into our home.
Hey there, chatters. I'm Nat.
And I'm Kat, and welcome to the Crime Chat. I am your forensic femme fatale, and Natalie is your true crime addict connoisseur.
We're just two normal girls who are not only obsess about dark crimes, evil minds, and occasionally the unknown. And yes, there are a lot of unknowns.
Yes, there are. It's very intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
Here is your disclaimer, chatters. The following Crime Chat contains adult content and descriptions of potentially violent scenarios. Your listener discretion is advised.
You have been warned. And before we get into today's crime chat, Kat, what have you done?
Oh, well, I've been doing a lot of watching TV. I messaged you and told you about the Pale Blue Eye movie on Netflix. Have you seen it, or did you see a teaser for it?
I started watching it. Yeah, I started watching it. Love it.
Yes. I mean, I was blown away. I was like, I had no idea there was a character, Edgar Allan Poe, on there.
Yeah.
But if you remember too, because it was your story from a couple weeks ago, that when it was taking place in the military academy, when he went to the military academy, he didn't go by his actual name. But in the movie, they did, which is really cool.
He was Perry, Alan Perry.
Yes. Edgar Allan Perry, or Edgar A. Perry. Yeah, that's right.
Edgar A. Perry. No, Alan Perry. He didn't use his name. Remember?
Oh, he didn't use E? He didn't use Edgar or anything? Okay. But I love it when, and it kind of leads into our crime chat for today, but I love it when they have movies based on reality, like based on things that you can go back and facts and you can look at. And the fact that we just did that story and then it came out on Netflix. When I started watching it, I was like, oh, this looks pretty interesting, right? Investigative crime drama taking place in the 1800s kind of thing, like back in the day. Actual investigative work, right? So when I was like, Edgar Allan Poe, what? Wait a minute. Especially because I think it's like within the first 30 seconds they put a quote from one of his poems on there. I paused it, took a picture of it, and sent it to you, and I was like, oh shit, look at this, E.A. Poe.
Do you remember which quote it was? Do you remember which poem?
I think I probably still have it on my phone. Okay, here it is. The boundaries which divide life from death are best shadowy and vague. Who shall say where one ends and where the other begins? E.A. Poe. Well, you had a good weekend.
I did have a good weekend. I ended up watching. I got hooked on Ozark, and I know I'm late to the game.
Ozark is a fucking amazing series.
I know I'm late.
Yes.
But I have to admit, I am obsessed. I forgot how obsessed I was with Jason Bateman.
Yes.
He's hot. He's amazing. The man doesn't fucking age.
Right? So actually, before you get into your movie versus reality story, and I don't know what it is, chatters, I'm on the edge just as much as you are. So, but I do have some crime chat like updates and kind of recapping some stuff.
Okay.
So I was watching an old episode of Unsolved Mysteries. Remember that old Unsolved Mysteries? And I can't remember the host's name, but he's up there and he's got like the trench coat on, right?
Yeah, he's got that voice. Yeah.
So it was on the Roku channel. And I don't know, like we've just recently discovered that because we've got Roku and we use like different applications and stuff for the Roku, they have their own channel and there's like thousands of channels on there. Their own forensic files, like 24/7 forensic files. Girl.
I didn't know that.
24/7 Unsolved Mysteries. Like, I mean, and it's all different things. It's sports and news and, but it's with your Roku. You have a Roku. It comes with it. So it's free channels, essentially. Anyway, I was watching Unsolved Mysteries. And one of the shows they were talking about coroner investigators and how they go to scenes and kind of the steps that they have to take in order to find Jane and John Doe's. They, bodies that have not been identified. What do they have to do? Processes and stuff they have to go through. And, it's like kind of at the end of the shows, it's being unsolved mystery. So some of the cases and stuff that aren't solved, they do sketches, right? So they'll have the artist representation. And you talked about that with The Boy in the Box and like the sketch and kind of how they would have looked in different ways, and that kind of thing. Right. So at the end of this, they were highlighting 2 unsolved cases. One of them was a case that we talked about in our very first bonus episode of Crimes in Our Backyard, the Sumter County John and Jane Doe, the Sumter County Does. That's in my backyard. So we talked about this story, and just to recap a little bit, the Crimes in the Backyard, my part of the story was Sumter County Does, where in 1976, 2 bodies were found with gunshot wounds, a male and a female, just off of I-95. The male victim was shot 3 times in the upper chest, and the female victim was shot in the upper chest and then through the neck. The weapon they thought that was used was a .357 caliber revolver. They had no idea who they were. No identification. They thought they were transients because of some of the materials and the possessions that they had on their body. And they thought also that they could have been related because they favored each other so much.
Right.
And it wasn't until January of 2021, so 2 years ago, that through the DNA Doe Project, the victims were finally identified. And they were identified as 29-year-old James Paul Freund and 24-year-old Pamela Mae Buckley. No suspect was ever arrested in this investigation. And some theorists actually believe, we talked about a little bit too, that it could have been Pee Wee Gaskins.
That's right. That's right.
But we kind of thwarted that theory because he actually was arrested before, and he was in jail pending his trial for his own murders. But
right, for like 110 people that possibly
up to, right? He claimed.
Oh,
so
Lord.
And he's also in my serial killer coloring book.
You got issues, girl.
So I'll wrap up this recap with the top downloads we just talked about. But the month of August, we had 1,181 downloads, and that's been our top month so far.
Are you kidding me?
With a total of 4,366 total all-time downloads. So thank you, chatters.
Thank you, chatters. That's crazy. Oh my God. That's awesome. I love it. We need more chatter requests. We really do.
We want to hear what you want to hear. Like, we want to hear all about what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Put your requests in. You can email them to crimechatwithnatandcat@gmail.com. You can message us on Facebook or on Instagram, and we will get back to you.
What if murder was legal for 12 hours? No one could protect you from the death, chaos, and mayhem.
The Purge.
Oh my gosh. Our story today is about The Purge, the movie, versus the reality, Kat.
That is insane. That it was even a thing.
It's a thing.
Well, I did not know about it.
I know. That's why I hid from you. I'm like, I'm not telling Kat this.
No, why didn't I know about it? To bury some bodies. Kidding. Just joking.
So now you've seen the movie, right?
Yeah. Love it.
All seen at least the first one. We've all seen Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Running around trying to protect his family. But The Purge was written and directed by Peter James DeMonico.
Mm-hmm.
He stated that the franchise technically is not inspired with any real events, and it's actually inspired from by modern day America.
I'm not surprised.
That's what he says. So, because we don't leave you hanging, chatters. For more information on this case, please check out After That Crime Chat, available only on Patreon.
Yes, don't forget to follow us on all our socials. Crime Chat with Nat and Cat on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok to see what's coming up.